Make kids make you watch. Why y'all look so mad if all the shit I say is true?
Hey.
I look so mad if all this shit
Hold on, let me pause the music.
white man quick to tell you was a slave nothing before me.
I'm sitting over here the whole time thinking I'm playing music. This is my first time going live. So I'm sitting here playing music and didn't realize I had to add it to the live so to show up. So I just sitting here black for the longest.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
I did not know I had
It's one of them
to.
days.
So I'm a little embarrassed. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play a little music for a little bit to try to give a little time for people to come in. I'm gonna do some sharing to in the back, and then
Okay,
we're just
cool.
gonna get started after about 2 songs.
Okay, cool.
Alrighty. Now let's hopefully I can get this right.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure of it.
Kimberly, can you hear?
I can hear you.
Can you hear the music playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kimberly, can you hear?
Yeah, I hear it now.
Can you hear the music? I know we die if we can. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know what we can. We been here, lived here, open borders, got deported off of rights. Kidnapped, bitch snapped, blacked out, covered up, washed white, drugged up, slugged up, beat bread, left for dead, fuck your life. It's all the plan, kill your man, take your land, slave your kids, break your wife. Why y'all look so mad if all this shit I say is true? Why y'all look so mad if all this shit happened to you? White man quick to tell you he was a slave nothing before me. He himself only been free since 1840. I'm recording. I'm an ancient Egyptian from Atlantis. Head straight forget it, that's Israel. Nothing fake about me, no capping rap me. I just spent the ink and I'm digital. No caveman, I'm original. Kentucky Fried, extra critic. Where a lot of gold, cause my family history. I'm the God I know who bring death. Well, we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gonna save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if we can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. Well, we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gonna save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if we can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. Power, only respect power. Respect power. What's been said can't be said no louder. Stand for something, or you die a coward. They bombed our church and set our kids on fire. Police keep it racing cause they backed up by the nation. Nation ain't complaining cause the Indians still hanging. Comanche, Sioux, Apache, ain't no history in blackness. No reason for that chatting if you bitch up when it's action. AR on my body, tell the bro to grab the shot. Ain't no nothing new addition, finna hit on with this body. I can't shoot the shit, but 37 misses. 54 races, 104 was click. Anytime in prison, they don't want the shit. They don't want the problems. Snitches get the stick. Talking all that hatred, end up running like a bitch. Quick to call the laws, quick to play the bitch. Well, we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gonna save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if we can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came. Well, we gon' die every day. They say Jesus gonna save us. Well, I know we die if we wait. I know we die if we can't. They tell us we black, but we ain't. Aboriginal, native, yeah, we gon' die every day. Cause we don't know where we came.
Infamous Trey on me.
I said, paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed. Every inside, you everybody want their checkup. Money, even preachers charge for a confession. See, ain't nobody focused on the bullshit that they told us. I was trying to pin you sick when ain't nobody came before us. We the best part of waking up before the folks. That's why they want your backs against the wall like a poster. Indoctrination being sold as education. Most of history they taught you came from some imagination. It was never true. Fuck the whole compilation. Fuck Walter Becker. Fuck Alex Haley. Here's Egypt, Israel, Queen Khalifa. Babylon used to devil by it where I take my fever. Niggas think I'm lying cause they sleep. But bitch, I ain't no fool shopping my toes every season. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the products of the paper. They know who we are, so they hate us cause they hate us. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the products of the paper. They know who we are, so they hate us cause they hate us. Yes, I gotta start bad rapper, tell these niggas how it happened. Control is a goal, now you spice like William Shatner. Technology's economy has overthrown your balance. Now your headaches come from ways Microsoft's up in your atlas. Fears how they take it, they spank you for being active and questioning all the requisites made to prevent disasters. Clearing out the Turkish dream of talking to the pastor. Got the online tithing, it's valid for the masses. They never love the classics, but bite off our originals. Reclassify your favorite routes, the Seminoles. I'm so black pride that my inside's purple. If the word had never died, it probably never alert you. You need to venture out and stop sticking the circle. Strength and numbers react different to curfews. The movement, our perfume. The streets ain't gold. Our summer so cold, we left the fall on froze. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the products of the paper. They know who we are, so they hate us cause they hate us. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the products of the paper. They know who we are, so they hate us cause they hate us. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the products of the paper. They know who we are, so they hate us cause they hate us. I said paper on paper on paper. Ain't no genocide, we was killed on paper. Buried us alive in the products of the paper. They know who we are, so they hate us cause they hate us.
Hello, everybody. I am your host, Jessica X, and today I have Kimberly Frazier joining us for the conversation.
Hey,
Kim-
y'all. How you doing?
I want to go ahead and say this. When you come in, I want you guys to go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button. That way the algorithms could, share it and bring people into the conversation. I want to first by starting off saying, this is a conversation that is much needed. I'm pretty sure a lot of our elders in our family have, told us things in the past if we may have dismissed them. But now it's not the time to dismiss it because a lot of the stuff our elders told us had a lot of merit to it. It wasn't just them speaking out of the side of their necks. It had a lot of truth to it. So I want to start by saying, telling my little story, a short little story. Growing up, I can remember, like my grandfather, he died. I was 3 or 4 years old, but I can remember him. And, my grandmother, she died in 2011. So I had her for quite a bit of years. So with both of my grandparents, I can always remember them telling me that they had Indian in them, Indian blood. I can remember this like it was yesterday. I can always, I can remember this. And it was a lot of other stuff that we carry on that is considered indigenous, even down to when us women, when we get mad at our men and we don't want to be with them anymore. Indigenous women, when they wanted to divorce their husbands, they just put all this stuff out in the yard.
Yeah.
And
That's
see,
right.
we look at that as being ghetto, but that's not ghetto. That is, something we did. And there's other stuff like some stuff I would attribute to, I guess plain Indians. But then again, it makes sense that it would be here too. I haven't really did more research into it, but my granddaddy, I can remember like he had when they got older, they had a farm. Well, I'm not gonna say a farm. They had a garden in the backyard, but it was pretty big. Like it was enough to feed, my grandmama, my granddaddy, and their 8 kids and grandkids that's attached to the 8 kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I could remember, him they planting food and stuff. And I could remember being really little and he had this thing and it sounded like he had like rice or maybe like some type of little beads or something in it. And it was like on both sides, it was made, I guess, like with lambskin or something. I'm not sure. But he called it a rainmaker. He would do dance. And I just, being grown now, I associate that to Plains Indians, but it makes sense here too that they would do rain dances because a lot of times we have droughts here in the South. Even though this is a subtropic area, we have times where it's blistering hot and it doesn't rain.
Wow. And I don't know if you dealt with this. Like, I guess it's like a foreign concept to some folks, but with me, I can smell when the rain is coming. It don't even have to be a crappy looking day necessarily. I can just automatically smell the rain in the atmosphere getting ready to happen. And that's how, some farmers would be able to know when to plant the crops and whatnot.
Yeah. And speaking of farmers, did you know that the Farmer's Almanac was, created by a black man who was actually using the Mayan calendar? And a lot of indigenous people did not use this Gregorian calendar that we use today. A lot of them use their own calendar system, most of which are descendants of the Maya. Just think about it. Like, for example, the singer Maya Angelou. Come on now. The Maya are the sheep people. They're one the same, and they migrated from all the way from South America all the way up here. Wow. And we still do some of the same things that the Mayan did. Like, for example, anthropologists love to play this game as if they don't know where these Olmec heads come from. They're kings. Notice they have what looks like helmets on their heads.
Yeah.
They love to talk about the football game that the Mayans played, but they'll say, oh no, they played it with their feet. No. If you really look at it, it's a basketball hoop turned the other way, and they're playing it with this rubber ball. Well, we have men who play basketball to this day. We even birth kids who can come out the womb knowing how to play ball. And what these kings would do, for example, let's say I'm a king and you're a king, right? Let's say both of us the males. And my territory here is Georgia. So I'm over cotton, tobacco, rubber trees, cocaine, because there's so many different type of cocaine leaves. They even use it to this day. And it's still very, it's trees still around to this day. That's all over America. Right. Territory, you're in what, Ohio? Mm-hmm. So let's say you got like granite up there, stones. You may have a few little crops that do grow up there. So, for example, it came time for us to, to challenge each other. We would play basketball to the death. And whoever wins would take over that kingdom too, have that too.
Wow.
And even to this day, we still hold that. So much so, look at NBA. Who is the best player? The Negro.
Right. That's right.
The Negro is a descendant of the Maya. Mm. And then when you look at it, also too, they got Mayan temples and pyramids down there, and we have temples and pyramids here, and we love to separate the landmass when America is just one complete landmass.
That's true.
And that also includes Canada and all of the islands.
Wow.
All of that is one landmass. It's all on the same, even though it's water in between it, it's still on the same plate of land. I guess this tectonic plate. And one of the things I made a list of things I want to share to kind of, give a little evidence and merit to, this conversation I'm bringing. It's the American Negro, the American Indian. And one of the things I discovered while doing work researching history, this day, for example, you can't even, you're trying to tell us that you went to a new world, right?
Right.
Let y'all tell it Africa have all of these minerals, but if that's the case, why didn't y'all colonize Africa first? Why did y'all come here? We have the legend of El Dorado, a whole bunch of legends here. Whole bunch. But they love to say that they brought slaves from Africa to here. Now, it's partially true in a sense, but it wasn't African, like black people, it wasn't melanated people.
Right.
You had two types of slave trade going on. You had the Indian slave trade, which that was not the first slave trade. Then you had the Slavic slave trade, which is the slave trades of the whites, that is not very popular. And I'm coming to realize that it's a reason why, in all these years, we've been screaming reparations and we haven't gotten any reparations, because truly it's no reparations that is due for slavery or slavery. Because initially, you look at the books, the slaves that was coming over were the white people. If that was not the case, it wouldn't be a need to put free white people on, the papers for census. They have free white people and free people of color.
Right.
Another thing I noticed, you got this huge mountain range called the Mid-Atlantic Ridge that's dead slap in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, which makes the water very, very, very choppy. So it's hard for them to come across. They can't go straight through to this day. If you go online and try to search for cruise ships that'll take you from America to Africa, you're not going to find any because of this giant mountain range. So I'm going to share this.
Okay.
Where I'm going to attempt to share. Okay, can you see my screen, Kimberly?
Yeah.
Okay, can you see what I'm sharing?
Yeah, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. I see this little map on from Wikipedia.
Okay, so I'm going to just pull this up. So this ridge goes from all the way up here, all the way up here, all the way down like an S.
Yeah.
All the way down to damn near Antarctica. So this is what is considered the tallest mountain range in the world, but it's underwater. So with that being said, this eliminates the coming from Africa straight across. They would literally have to go from Africa, go all the way up here and go around and back down.
Right.
To come here.
Yeah.
No way possible you're going to go from the West Coast and across. To this day, the water is way too choppy. Way too choppy. And y'all had little steamboats. Then we have very, very, what would you call it? Modern equipment today.
Right.
They'll be able to do it. No, they still can't go from the eastern coast to the west coast of Africa straight across. They have to follow the current and go way up here and come around. Or go all the way from here all the way down and around. They have to go all the way down to Antarctica and come back up. There's no way straight across.
Wow.
So that rules out that. But in a sense, like, I will tell you, it was somewhat slavery going on, but it wasn't the way that we think it is.
Right.
It was so much going on. Like, initially, let me come back over here. Let me see. Is it anything else? Another thing. Okay. Now, this is something from 1861. This is, like, we love to say the Confederate flag, well, the Confederate period is racist. But when you look into history, actually, the Indians came up with the Confederacy, the Algonquins. So much so, it is a black lady on the money. This is a black lady here.
Ooh.
A black lady.
That looks like that is a $5 bill.
Yeah, this is a $5 bill. This is
Mm.
a $5 bill from Richmond, Virginia. And this is September 21st, no, September 2nd, 1961. No, not 1961, 1861. I'm sorry, 1861. I misspoke.
You good?
And this is a Confederate States of America currency, $5. And I also have this one too. Hold on, is it this one? No, it's this one over here. Over here. Now, we see this image so many times, right?
Yeah, we do.
Of black people in the field, but I want you to take a good look at these people. They got hats on, their clothes look nice and neat.
Look like sharecroppers.
No, they're not the sharecroppers. They're the ones who own the land. Look
Mm.
how clean they are. Why would
Wow.
they put a slave on the money? They put the person with the power on the money, right?
True. Very
And
true.
look at this. Didn't dawn on me until somebody had to point it out. When you see these pictures of so-called slaves in the field, all of them are clean.
Yeah.
And think about the conditions they told us slaves were under.
Yeah.
So if this truly was a slaves in the field here, first thing first, they wouldn't put slaves on it because
That's
slaves
true.
don't have the power. They'll put
Right.
the person who own all the land on the money.
And at that time, slaves weren't thought of even as people. They were thought of as cattle.
Yes, exactly. And how can a slave own land?
Right. Right.
So it's number 2. So, and I want to show you this too. One of the ladies I have on the pictures. Now, I really hate when they say African because they're trying to push us to another landmass, especially since I've been doing my ancestry. And I've come to the point that I've really realized that everything we've been told has been absolutely a lie. When I say
Yes.
a lie, even down to us supposedly having our slave owners' names. That is not the case. When these people was coming over here, it was laws put on the book where they can come here and buy our names, change their name, do a name change.
Wow.
That's where you got the name change to this day, where you can legally go in and pay to change your name. They was changing their names, and if they wasn't changing their names to our names to try to wiggle their way in to steal the land, they would marry into the family so that they could take the land that way.
Right.
Now, this lady here, her name is, hold on, let me scroll down. Let's see. Angela Walton, I guess Raja, I guess how you would pronounce that. But this is her family here. Let me see if I just want a picture of her. This is her family. This is her right here in the middle. Well, this is her family, but I'm assuming that this is the ancestor here that is connected to the person who's working with the Smithsonian. And these two are her grandparents. Now, all of these people look black to me.
Yeah, they do.
All of them look black to me. This one right here kind of looks, like, how like when our elders get a little older or whatever, he doesn't look Mongolian or Russian, like one of them little fake Russian $5 Indians. He doesn't look like that.
Right. Right.
Neither. They look.
They got them high prominent cheekbones though.
They do. They look, what we would consider is so-called African American.
Yeah.
They look just like Africans. They look just like Africans. Makes you wonder.
Yeah, it does.
And let me see, it's something else too I want to share. I had no, I don't want to do that. Let me come back over here. So I've been shared something I don't want to share. Hold on, let me find it first. I have so many tabs up. So while I'm looking for this, if you want, you we can talk a little bit more about what your grandparents told you or what your family told you about, your background.
Oh yeah. Well, from what my mom and my aunt had told me, because my grandmother, she passed before I was born. She passed in like 76, 77 of December. So I didn't get to know too much about her. I knew of her. And one of the main stories, some in our Black families, we know, like, hey, you got some Cherokee Indian in you. And that was just a constant thing. And I was like, are you sure about that? Because I don't know. Like, because I would always look at these, what I consider to be genuine Native Americans and whatnot. And I was like, that does not reflect me at all. Like, yes, I have high cheekbones. My mother has high cheekbones. Maybe a little in the eyes, maybe, but I don't know for sure. So I never bought into that. I was like, I'll just hold off till I do my little, DNA ancestry test and just find out and, take it from there. And then when I found out the results, I was like, okay, like
thrown off. Yeah.
More than a little thrown off. I was like, what in the hell is this?
Yeah, I can imagine. I did mine too. And then it's so crazy because they recently updated it again. I'm like,
they do. And that's what people don't know. That's what people don't know. They will update like maybe it'll go between like maybe 6 months to a whole year. Mine's recently updated this past year to what it is now. So I was like, okay, because they were very specific about, what was what, who was what, because the very beginnings of that, and I still have screenshots of that. I'm going to share that with you offline, where it was talking about, where it said 18% Cameroon, that was supposed to be 52%, but they had switched it and changed it to Nigeria and Mali and all that. And it was really shocking. I was like, okay. I guess the good part about it was I ended up meeting and linking up with cousins that I didn't even know I had from that particular family tree. And we still stay in touch to this day. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that is a good thing. I know I didn't go through like 23andMe, any ancestral one like that. I went through an actual genetic company called CRI Genetics. It's a cellular research institute. I felt like maybe if I go through someone who's been, who is specifically for, analyzing genetic material, maybe I get a better, a more authentic result. And boy, was I wrong.
Lord.
That thing came back and told me I was initially it said I was 53% European, and I'm like, hold on,
girl, that is half of what you are. I was like, what the hell?
I'm like, hold on. I got my mom and my dad in my life. I've seen my grandparents on my mom's side. My grandmama, she was friends with my granddaddy on my daddy's side, so she knew my daddy when he was a little boy. So she know what my granddaddy looked like. And my grandmama, she said, yeah, they was high yellow, but she said they look more like Lumbees. And Lumbees are Indians. And she said your granddaddy was really, really, really tall. She said, real tall. Now, she said he was taller than my Uncle Snake, what my Uncle Snake was. And my Uncle Snake is 6'3", but she would say, my Uncle Snake, she'd say, well, he about 6'3". And I'm like, well, if he's taller than my Uncle Snake's 6'3". That means my granddad had to be like 6'5" or something. But he was tall. He was, she said they call him giant.
Wow.
That's how tall he was. And she said, my grandmama and my dad, she'd say, my daddy say all the time, you a real little lady like my mama. Real little lady like my mama. So my grandmama is a short lady, and both of them was a little, well, I'm not gonna say yellow. They was red complected because how my grandma said. My grandma said they had that sandy red complexion like her, and she's she was light skinned, but she had like this sandy red complexion too. She wasn't like a yellow red.
Right. Wow.
But yeah, she knew my dad's side of the family, which I never really hit the connection. Like, hold on, how would she know that side of the family like that? You and knowing what I know now, like, okay, the counties we live in, what is called Richmond County, which is Augusta, and then it encompasses two cities, which is Augusta and Hephzibah, Georgia, which Hephzibah is its own little town, but
Mhm.
it's a country town, but it's included within our county. Now, my granddaddy people on my dad's side, they're from Lincolnton County. That is a few counties away. Mind you, my grandmama cannot drive. And
Oh,
from what
wow.
I was told, my granddaddy couldn't drive or chose not to drive. I don't know which one, but they would say he just chose not to drive.
Mhm.
But I'm like, how would they know each other living so many miles away? I mean, at one point in time, my grandma, my people, they did move to Augusta, but that was, I want to say like a year or two before he died, because he died in 1947.
Wow.
Well, I'm gonna say Lynch because that's exactly what happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's what my grandmama told me, and I was able to find the article too of what the so-called train conductor who was in on it said.
Oh, wow.
And when I was reading it, you know how like you can tell when your ancestors trying to tell you something, you get like this tingling sensation, warmth.
Yeah, like the hairs on the back of your neck start rising up a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm reading this and I instantly start feeling that. Mind you, I've been looking for an article or something for years, and I finally come across it, and I'm just like, word, and what in the world?
Wow. That must have been a real cathartic experience for you.
Yeah, it really was. Because that wasn't something, because initially, like, what the funny thing about it is, I, when I initially started doing our ancestry,
Mhm.
I didn't know that my granddaddy was lynched. I didn't know that. I didn't really, know a lot about him.
Mhm.
He died when my dad was like 7, I think, 6 or
Wow.
7, something like that. But he was really, really young, so I didn't really know anything about my grandfather. Just little stuff that my grandmother would tell me here and there or whatever. She'll come up with a story. I might make a facial expression, and she was like, "Oh my God, you look just like Sam Senior." Oh, and then she'll start telling me something, a story here or there. But it wasn't like she sat down and just was like, "I'm just going to tell you everything I know about your grandfather." It wasn't like that. So when I started doing the research, I remember calling my aunt. I called my daddy first, and my daddy was like, well, I don't really know. I was real young. You're gonna have to talk to my sister. She was a lot older when our daddy died. So I called her and I started asking questions like, when is his birthday? When did he die? I'm doing our genealogy. I just want to know a little bit more about him, so that I can do our research. And so she told me, she was like, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. He was lynched. They claim he was supposedly hit by a train, but we never got his body.
Wow.
And so she told me that. I'm like, okay. So when did he died? She told me I want to say she said October 8th, 1947. I do know it was 1947 for sure. And so I started doing a little research and I couldn't find any kind of like death certificate or anything like that. No type of notification of death, notice of death or anything. Couldn't find
Right.
a article or nothing. I just saw where he was like on the census 1 year, and then 10 years later he wasn't on the census anymore. That's what I saw. And so for years and years and years, I couldn't find any more information about him, like death certificate or anything like that, or article or anything, until recent. Mind you, I'm paying for all of these different subscriptions so that I can do our research or whatnot, to find out more about our family. So recently, I was able to find an article a very old article within the Augusta Chronicle website, which is a newspaper that has been here in Augusta for like about as long as America been here almost. I want to say they've been here been in Augusta maybe 150 years or 150 years plus.
Wow.
So much so, I remember I did you could pull stuff from in PDF file version of certain articles from websites. They were helping the Karens back in the day complain about the Negro, not keeping up the Sabbath.
Oh, wow.
Yes, group of Negroes standing out on this street here, congregating, playing loud music, dancing, and having a good time. Group of Negroes making loud noise. Yeah, it was like that. And so I'm like, okay, y'all have this type of information compiled, but when it comes to death records, y'all don't have that in PDF form or anywhere,
I know, make that shit make sense now. Come on.
I'm trying to do genealogy. I can find where y'all was just letting these white people just complain, but I can't find stuff that, I need to find. So it's just crazy. With all of that being said, I still haven't found a death certificate. I don't think I will be able to find one. Maybe in a few more years, maybe one will pop up just like the article popped up.
Yeah.
Time. But I want to go on to something else when it comes to with this genealogy. For years, I've been doing research, I found a grandmother of mine. She's my fourth great grandmother.
Ooh.
Her name is Johanna Johnson. She was married to Amos Johnson. Johanna Johnson was born 1826. And Amos Johnson was born 1828.
Wow.
Amos and Johanna Johnson gave birth, they had 3 kids together. Well, they had 4, but 3 survived.
Right.
The oldest was my third great grandmother, Julia Johnson, my uncle, Edward Johnson, and then my other uncle, James Royal Johnson. Now, I wouldn't know about these people at all if, I wasn't on Ancestry and got an email from someone who has been studying my family for years. She emailed me and basically was, asking me questions, asking me, what information I can give her about, my grandmother. I'm not gonna lie. Leo, I went off on her. I kind of cussed her out or whatnot. Cut the check, stuff like that. And I'm a Leo, me being a Leo, it took me a whole year to be able to calm down and see that, okay, even though I cussed her out, she's still going to be researching my family. So I need to try to smooth stuff over with so that I can see what information that she has on my people and why is a museum researching my family.
Oh, wow.
Yes. The good thing about this is she did put me in contact with the other part of the family, the one who comes from my uncle, James Royal. Now, with Edward, I don't think Edward had any kids. He could have. The information may not be online yet. But with that side of the family, now this is the story that my cousin gave me. And she, now she is, when it comes to James and with her, James is her grandfather.
Right.
James is her great-great-grandfather. So that would make my grandmother her third great-grandmother.
Wow.
So she's a little bit closer. She's 87. We only talk, we mostly email because I really can't get on the phone too often. She's elderly lady. But she told me so much. We was when we did talk. we was on the phone for about 4 hours. She was telling me so much. I was telling her so much. I just wanted, to absorb it, and we instantly connected. But one of the stories she told me is, now I'll say this much. Now I have to do more research on what was going on with Johanna and Amos, family, and what was going on with Senator Robert Toombs, because I will say this. Now, I feel like it's something more going on with my grandparents. Maybe they were some type of royalty that got, taken into, POW or something, because what I'm learning about our people is, for example, if you find Black people with the last name King, for example, or Jackson, and you do their ancestry, 9 times out of 10, or I'm going to say 9.5 times out of 10, they are descendants of some type of Negro king, an Indian king or a chief, somebody, who was considered royalty. Because contrary to popular belief, they love to tell you in America, we didn't have kings or queens.
They love to say that. They love to discourage that but they always would have like genealogy tests, DNA tests for these white folks, and they're able to trace back their ancestors all the way to the King Henry VIII. Shit,
yes. And this is the thing, like, what gets me with the genealogy test. Like, for one, are you want me to spit in this tube, but you could tell me just from my spit, you could tell me everywhere my people have been and where I've been, but you can't tell me, show me on this DNA test that you recently took that, well, you don't show on this map that I done lived in Virginia, I done lived in Miami. You can't show none of this. You can't show none of the recent history of where all my people live. But you're gonna tell me, you can tell me where my people live in the ancient history. And I know y'all not digging up bodies, testing them. And the bodies that y'all are digging up is nigger bodies, or Negro bodies.
Yep, trying to Henrietta-lack somebody.
Yeah, y'all trying to Henrietta-lack people. And not even just that, when they first came here to America, they was taking the bodies out of the mounds, our ancestors out of these mounds, these burial mounds, the ones that we did bury people in, and eating them.
Yep. Yep.
And it's so crazy because I didn't really know this until I was reading this little, you get the little fold out books for your kids. I seen one, and it was like, I love Egyptian stuff for some reason, and I'm gonna go into that too. This gonna probably blow. If you had a wig on, it'll blow your wig off. I'm gonna blow your wig off, because they love to tell us, it's like this. They love to say, "Oh, Africa is the mother of civilization." Well, if that's the case, why don't they have roads over there now? Like we haven't dug up any ancient roads yet, but y'all got ancient roads here, ancient cities here in America. Well, if Africa is the mother of civilization, well, by God, America must be the grandmother of civilization.
Yep, that's true.
Because the Americas have way more pyramids combined than Africa. It's 200,000 in South America, and it's about the same amount of pyramids in North America.
Wow.
I would say 2,000, because that's what archaeologists were saying, and I had old information from 10 years ago. They're saying it's about the same amount, 200,000 here.
Damn.
So there's 400,000 pyramids here. So if you want to see who built them first, well, of course, you're gonna see whoever built them first. You're gonna see that they have the most pyramid with the most variety of pyramids. And we have all different types of pyramids. We have 3-sided pyramids. We have step pyramids. We got 4-sided pyramids. We even got 5-sided pyramids. We got some pyramids that y'all call mounds, which those are not mounds. Those are pyramids.
That's true. And don't forget about the pyramids that are in the ocean too.
Yes, we got pyramids all up and down, all in the ocean. We got pyramids that I've even discovered. Like, I'm telling you, if you live near a river, our people put pyramids near the river. If you type in, but see, here in America, they're going to put mounds.
Yeah, they will.
2 mounds within 7 miles of each other.
Mm.
And then I'm sitting here thinking, because I used to live right along the Augusta Canal. The Augusta Canal is man-made. It's man-made. It's about 254 acres
Wow.
long, something like that. And the Indians built it. The Confederate Indians built it. White people didn't build that. And they got an autolist beside it where I used to live at, an autolist. And I used to hike all up and down there. And at the time, I was just going in the woods, just not, trying to look for, artifacts and stuff. But I came across stuff that it didn't dawn on me until years later. Like, it's so many, you'll see like foundations laid along the river, but you can tell these foundations is really, really, really old, like at least 200-300 years old. Those are from the original inhabitants of this land. This land that I'm on here is West Ontario territory, Muskegee Creek, which Muskegee Creek is one and the same. They also say Creek Indians, and it's one more. I want to say the Yunchi. And then on the other side of the river, they had a gang of Indians. Like, for example, the Savannah River is named after a tribe of Indians called the Savannah Indians.
Wow.
Didn't know that until I started looking at old maps and I noticed old towns. One said Sandoval. And I'm like, hold on, that's a different word. That's Savannah, but spelled slightly different. And then it dawned on me too, like, for example, with some of my ancestors, I noticed during the time period for about 100 years, doing like through the Brunson line, my mom's line, her dad's line, I noticed that, I promise you, every female had the name Savannah.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't dawn on me until after, I found out about the tribe named Savannah, that possibly the reason their name was Savannah is because they was trying to keep alive what tribe they was from.
Wow.
Like, you'll be shocked with these names. Like, when you do, I'm not sure if you're doing your research, your genealogy yet, but you'll notice, like, it'll be males and females that carry names on. Another thing, like, I noticed, like, I noticed when I was doing my genealogy, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know it took a lady, basically a chief, to tell me this. I wanted her to pull up and see, if she can maybe find a little bit more information. She was like, I see where somebody came into the country from England and stole your grandmama's whole name. And she said, I can see where the lady had another name first, and a month later she changed her name.
Damn.
See, I would have assumed, okay, well, on the other side of the pond, they had the same names. No, she told me it was laws, making it easy for them to be able to come in and get ownership of stuff. So they'd come in and change their name or whatever, or marry into the family, act like they want a beautiful little Indian girl or whatever as a wife. And that's what they'll do. To take over our stuff.
Yeah. And trying to claim ownership.
Mm-hmm. They still try to do that.
Oh, yeah.
To this day. Like, people we love to say, the white man ain't been in nothing but the patent office. They ain't been the patent office, all right. Just the regular patent office. Now, it is another patent office called BLM, Bureau of Land Management. BLM sound like Black Lives Matter. It's funny. Yeah. But our ancestors made sure that when these pale people was over here trying to take all the land and do all this stuff, they made sure that they tried to do something, set something in place for their descendants, which they did. I'll say this much though. whole tribes of Indians, Negroes who did apply to go and get their patent for a land. A land patent is basically a land title. It's very different from a land deed. If you have a deed, you don't own that land at all. But if you have the title, that means you own that land itself, the mineral rights and everything in it, from all the way down to the core of the earth and everything above it, all the way to the heavens. That's yours. And if anybody flies over it, they're supposed to pay you royalties. The thing is, you just have to do your ancestry to go and find it.
Right.
Now, depending on the state, not all states are on this, on BLM or what, it's also called, part of it is Glow Records. If you type in Glow Records, it'll take you straight to blm.gov.
Oh, okay.
Like, for example, my state, Georgia, is not on there at all. And I started doing research trying to find, records, because I know for sure. I can remember my grandmama telling us that we got land. I can remember my grandma telling us, she said, I think they lynched your granddaddy for that Anthemis mine he has in Georgia.
Ooh.
And I remember before this thought, this thought popped back in my head, this memory popped back up. I remember, I want to say like a year ago, I wanted to, do some of the stuff with the kids or whatnot, do something other than what the average parent does with the kids. So I was like, okay, well, I could take them and we can find minerals. I already love rocks. If I go somewhere,
girl,
take me anywhere. I go hiking.
I love collecting rocks, shells, just any old sparkly pretty thing that I can find. I did all of that when I was a little girl. I still do it to this day. If there's a pretty rock or a geode or something that maybe nobody saw and just kind of walked past, I'm snatching that thing up.
That's me too. I found a big sandstone when I was at Clark Hills, not sandstone, sunstone at Clark's Hill Lake. Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm pissed about Clark's Hill because I recently found, I knew it was something about Clark's Hill when I was little. I used to be terrified of that water. This is what my mama said. I used to tell her, she said, because I remember going to it all the time when I was little, but I would never get in the water.
Mm-hmm.
I used to tell her, mama, I can't get in there with all these spirits, these bodies in that water.
Are you serious? You knew back then, huh?
I knew back then, but I didn't, how about I did research? It's 3 towns up under there. 3 towns.
Ooh.
And what the Army Corps of Engineers normally did, they flooded places that had mounds or where they found Egyptian shit.
Damn.
They love this. For example, some of the white people are right, the ones who say, oh, Utah is Judah, all. That's why, if you think about it, what is it, the Black Hawk Wars in Utah and all of that, why the Mormons got all that territory, that's part of the Valley of the Kings. Ooh. And then you hear all of these stories about DOMs, deep underground military bases. Well, us indigenous people, we had underground civilizations, whole towns. Who do you think stuff they took over once they took over the land?
Yep.
For example, they talk about the Underground Railroad.
Mm-hmm.
The literal thing. It wasn't you running on top of the ground.
Right.
It was a literal thing. But the whole Valley of the Kings or whatever, stretch from California all the way to the Mississippi River. And in some parts, it stretched all the way to Tennessee. You have Little Egypt in Georgia, where they found Egyptian sarcophagus and tombs and stuff, and they blew that up. You got where they supposedly found in, what is it called? The Ohio River Valley. They found what they call the 10 Commandment stones or the dialect stone. I'm going to be honest.
Wow.
This person was buried with the 10 Commandment stones that was written in the ancient form of Hebrew. One of the
Really?
original forms of Hebrew. And y'all telling me y'all can't make a connection, y'all don't know who this is? Well, by
Damn.
God, you don't think that may be Moses?
I know, for real. The earth is a very old damn place. And like before all of the, I guess you could say all the, countries kind of split apart. It was like at one point in time a Pangea, wasn't it? Isn't that what that's called?
They
Where
say
everything was connected?
it was a Pangea, but I don't. I'm gonna say this. I think what happens, you know how like we have that mountain ridge in the middle of the ocean I was telling you. I think what happens is, you know how like we have a lot of molten lava within the Earth's core.
Uh-huh.
We have certain eruptions and it'll break once it, erupt, like how we have Yellowstone, or what I love to call Yellowstone. Because really think about it. That's a big volcano. And what do you get out of volcanoes once it erupts? You get diamonds out of volcanoes.
True.
So with that being said, you're telling me that's Yellowstone. I don't think that's Yellowstone. I think that's yellow diamonds. But you tell us that it's Yellowstone so that we don't go looking for diamonds.
Right.
You have a volcano in northern Georgia. We have these mountain ridges. I think what happened is when some of these volcanoes erupt or whatever, parts of landmass shrink. I may be wrong, but that's just one of the theories that I have. I think that may be what happened to Atlantis.
Yeah.
I may be wrong, but that's just one of my theories. It makes more sense because, like, when I was thinking about how the plates and stuff would have to move, and if they say stuff is constantly moving and changing, I was like, okay, well, if it moves on its own without something causing it to move, that means the Earth would be very unstable.
Right.
And we can't live on a unstable planet. That means even if it was moving a lot like then, that means even to this day, this planet to be very unstable. The only thing that'll made sense to me is pressure and lava and stuff rising and dropping.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like on that, and with that, it kind of make Pangea make sense to me.
Yeah.
And then with another thing too, like when you look at old maps, you see California as a island. People love to say, "Oh, well, they got the maps wrong." No, if you type in dams in America, for example, California have over 1,500 dams. That's not a lot compared to how many dams Georgia have. Georgia have, I want to say maybe, I think it's like 3,800 or 4,500. It's way more than what California has. A lot of America was underwater.
Yeah.
And so what they do is they make dams to deviate water. And also when you deviate water, you cover up other landmass when you're pushing water around, because water got to go somewhere.
True.
I
It does.
also feel like with them doing all this with the water, it may have been landmass still out there, but they deviate the water and hid it.
True.
And
It's kind of like how they did Lake Lanier.
yes, and
that was a whole town full of black people, and they flooded the hell out of that. Even though the black people protested and said, "No, this is our land. This is what we, where we want to stay," and they said, "Okay, fine, so be it. We're gonna kill you then," and that just flooded. That's why so many deaths be occurring over there.
And notice it's mostly, you'll see black people who died in Lake Lanier, like Usher Raymond's wife's son. But I guarantee you, she probably is not a native.
Yeah.
Probably not a native.
Yeah.
Because your ancestors not gonna mess with you.
Nope, sure won't. I believe that too. Yeah, you will be protected if you are an ancestor, if you're blood.
Like my kids, my uncle, he died May 25th it'll be a year on the 25th. My kids, they tell me all the time, "Mama, I seen Uncle Stanley. He would walk around the house."
Wow, they got the gift.
Which I expect that because my uncle, he's like he didn't have any kids, so all of his nieces and nephews were his kids.
Right.
So he didn't have any kids. Because with my uncle, I'm gonna start by saying this. With my uncle, I'm not trying to badmouth him or anything or whatever.
Yeah.
He was 10. I think that's what my mom said. He was like 9 or 10. He got hit by a car. And
Oh,
my mom
wow.
said he wasn't right in his head ever since then. Like he
Oh,
was
wow.
before that, he was like a normal person, but with him, like he was more susceptible to like you had to be careful of who you had around him because you can it had been situations where my uncle he got hooked on drugs, and that was because somebody was giving it to him. It's like, when he had that car accident, it almost made him like he was autistic in a sense.
Yeah.
You can't give somebody who has a disability drugs. My uncle, he was so, trusting in a sense. I remember it was an incident, and these people really took my uncle to jail about this, even though y'all could see on camera when somebody walked him in there into this bank to cash a fake check.
Damn. Really? He's that like easily influenced.
Yes, he kind of like, that he's that easily influenced.
Oh, wow. That's awful.
The thing is, you can have like he's good with kids, but you would have to supervise in a sense. Like we would never left alone with him because my uncle wanted to like he'll get to the point where I'm tired of y'all. He'll put us out the room. He supposed to be babysitting. And, I'm tired of y'all. Take your book bag with you, throw it out the room, and close the door and lock it. So you couldn't leave him there with us by himself or whatever. You get what I'm saying? But he was good with kids. He was like a big kid. If that makes sense.
It does. It really does. And kids probably, they love, big gravitating around that kind of energy because, it felt safe.
It did. It did feel safe. Like, and you could get him to do almost anything with you. I could get him go to when I was little, I'll get him to, take us to the park, and he'll go down the slide with us. He'll be on the swing with us. He'll push us. He'll do monkey bars with us. You name it, he's doing it with us. He's not sitting down. Don't let him bring my grandma dog. The dog going down the slide too with him.
Wow. Aw.
Cole Rasco looking crazy, crying. That's the dog name.
Aw.
Like,
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So let me get on to the next thing I wanted to show. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me make sure I have this set up. So I feel like this. We've come into the understanding that Egypt was over here too. We have Cairo, Illinois. We got Little Egypt. We got Little Egypt in northern Georgia. We have another Egypt. I want to say that's in Missouri, or it may be in Illinois too. You have the Valley of the Kings. You have a Sphinx inside of the Grand Canyon and a pyramid. You have pyramids all over the United States. They're constantly finding what you call it? Sarcophagus and stuff like that all over the United States. It was an incident in Tulsa back last year, matter of fact. Same day that they found supposed Tulsa, people from the Tulsa massacre.
Yeah.
They found
they did an excavation too, if I'm not mistaken, right?
They did. They found Egyptian sarcophagus.
Oh wow.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now I'm going to share this. This is going to show something from the 26th dynasty of Egypt, northern Illinois, and in Mexico. All of these look exactly the same. And I think this is the reason why we have this connection to Egypt, because Egypt is not across the water. Egypt is right here, or it's here. Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay, so this one here is a sarcophagus. This is figure A. This is from northern Illinois. This one here. Oh, by the way, Illinois is the name of a tribe.
Yeah.
This one here is from the 26th dynasty. And this one here is from Mexico. All
Wow.
three look exactly the same in shape.
Yeah, they do. They absolutely do.
And this one here from Mexico look a little bit more Negroid.
Yeah, it do. I see that nose.
And this one here, she look Negro too. She really look
Yeah.
Negro. She got ears, or he got some satellite ears, but he
Yeah,
really
sure. Yep.
he look and then look at the hair.
I know. Them look like locks to me.
Locks.
Yeah.
No locks. But these are Negroes. Like, you can't tell me Egypt isn't here.
Exactly.
And there's another thing I want to mention when it comes to them keep talking about Egypt. Now, this is just my theory when it comes to Egypt. But you know how like they love to talk about the 18th, I think it's the 18th dynasty.
Yeah.
I think the 18th dynasty was a lot more recent than they like to say. The reason I'm saying that is, if you really think about this, they have more, like, for example, first thing first, when you find out when Egyptology was, first came out, that was the late 1800s, early 1900s, right? And
Right.
they would start digging up stuff. But when you do the research to see where they was really digging up stuff at first, they were digging up stuff here. And then you also see pictures of them constructing the so-called ancient pyramids over there in Giza, but they love to say that's a hoax. But I don't believe that's a hoax, because when you look at maps, and that's all I love to do is look at maps, you don't see pyramids on the map until after a certain time.
True.
So with that being said, if people were making maps, they would sure enough put these pyramids on this map. They was putting cynocephaly, that these are what you call these Anubis, a cynocephaly. That's where you get syphilis from. A dog person.
Oh,
They
wow.
were putting cynocephaly on the map. These so-called things that supposedly is not real. Not saying it's real, not saying it's fake, but I'm just saying they got them on a map. Along with these, I don't even know what these things called, but it don't have a head, its face, and all of this is on its chest. Then you got a cyclops on the map, and these supposedly on islands, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all put all of this on the map. Y'all even put the giants that's buried on maps, that's underground, all type of stuff on maps. But you telling me that these pyramids was here, but they're just not on the map. Okay.
Damn.
But when you look on maps here, like, let me see, I can pull this up really quick. Here in America, I noticed when I was doing research for the Savannah area, I noticed something called the Temple of Health. That's a damn pyramid.
Wow.
The Temple of Health is a pyramid. And I'm trying to see if I could pull it up and find which map I saw it on, because I have so many maps. But yeah, it kind of shocked me when I saw that. I'm like, the Temple of Health.
Damn.
Trying to mess me up.
They got a whole lot of stuff out here that they are definitely hiding from us.
They hiding a lot, and it's a reason why they keep telling us to go back to Africa, because we grow own majority of the land here. And if you can convince us that this isn't our land, y'all can continue to illegally hold our patents and use them.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, like, at one point in time, I did go against my grandparents and believe that maybe, they just don't know what the hell they talking about.
Right.
I'm not even gonna lie. because I can remember being really, really little. I remember being in kindergarten, and I can remember when Black History Month come up, and like remember how they have you pick a person to color for Black History Month, and they display it.
Yeah.
And I remember my grandmama kept telling me, we're Indian or whatever. We're not African. So I remember going to school and I'm like, I'm finna get out of work. I'm not finna do this work y'all want me to do, whatnot. And so long story short, I go to school the next day, and I remember telling my teacher, I'm like, Miss Calloway, I don't want to do this. And she was like, well, why don't you feel like you don't have to do this? I said, I don't feel like I have to do it. I just don't want to do it. Why? I'm not African. Well, what are you? I'm Indian. This white lady looked me dead in my face, and she lily white, not little white with a little brown tan. No, she lily white.
Right.
White lady looked me in my face, told me, well, baby, I am Cherokee. And from looking at me and looking at you, you're not light enough to be an Indian. And my whole family is a line of Cherokee. So I'm thinking you more African, and your grandma lied to you. You were African, baby. You're not an Indian.
Ooh.
I believe this later. And at the time, I didn't know nothing about racism, bias, none of that. What I should have done was took my ass home and told my mama and my grandmama that this bitch called y'all liars.
Right.
I didn't do that.
Girl, because it would have probably been a shootout up in there.
My mama would have went up there and got them jacked that white lady up, and my grandma probably would have shot her ass for real.
I bet.
My grandma, she didn't argue with crackers. My grandma said, I got hot lead for your ass. She said, I'm not going to argue with you and you get me lynched. No, I will shoot your ass and bury you later, and we think about the consequences whenever they find you.
Hell yeah.
That's how my grandma was.
My family's the same way.
My grandma used to tell me about how she had a shotgun, in a few rooms. She said, them crackers come kick my door in by any goddamn thing. She said, 'cause I had a cracker living behind me, and that hoe, I put her pig over my gate and allow her pig to eat up my shit. She said, so you know what I did? I shot the fucking pig and flipped the bitch back over the gate and waited on the white bitch to come over here. And I let him shoot that pig too.
Damn.
He was a feisty something.
Girl, that sounds like some of my family members straight up. I'm not gonna lie. Oh my God. That sounds just like my family.
Wow. I just couldn't believe, I was like, wow, for real?
Yeah. Girl, my family is like, and back then, I don't know if the rules might have changed now, because modern times, but you couldn't just come up to a Black person's house, ring the door just out of the blue. For no reason. They didn't give a damn if it was the cops doing it. Like, my family was like, I'm going to shoot your ass first and ask questions later.
Yeah. That's
just because you see my car in the driveway, don't mean you can just bring your ass up and knock on the damn door, because I might be doing something.
That's exactly how my family was. My family, and I'm still like that to this day. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I get highly offended if you come to my house unannounced.
Girl, yeah, I still feel that way. If we ain't have no prior appointment, like what are you doing here?
Like, I can't when it comes to people just popping up.
I don't do that shit. Not at all. Somebody get their damn feelings hurt.
Now I'm looking for this, and you know what? I sent it to somebody, so I should be able to find it easier that way. Because all of a sudden I can't find it. I can't stand that when I'm looking for something and I can't find it.
You ever send a link, like an article or something, to yourself through text message? Because that's usually how I save my stuff, so I don't know where to pull it up.
I've been emailing a lot of stuff to myself, but I clipped it out. Like when you're in the National Archives looking at maps, you can do a clipping of a map instead of taking a whole map.
Yeah,
I did a clipping, but it's not showing up in my on my computer for some reason. I don't know if I like accidentally deleted it, but I do know I sent it to someone yesterday, so I could just download it, hopefully. But yeah, that was interesting when I saw that, and it's pyramids all up and down the Savannah River. Even on the other side, it's so much stuff in Barnwell, South Carolina. Oh my God!
Damn.
And Barnwell that's another thing. They love to come into turn blossoming towns that have a lot of little hidden gems and cookies and little stuff that's hidden in history. That's for us.
Yeah.
Love to hide our stuff or whatever from us and put in these turn the little towns into little hit towns. But you surprised, it's so many mounds and stuff, pyramids all up in Georgia. And another thing I've learned, like they love to say Africa got so much gold and this, that, and third or whatnot. But I'll say this much when it comes to Africa. Africa has gold, but they don't have gold the way Georgia has gold, the United States, period. You're no longer allowed to mine gold in Georgia.
Really?
Really. You're no longer to mine gold uh from a commercial standpoint, you're no longer allowed. But you can go to like parts of northern Georgia and go to the mines there near the mountains and like sift out, the gold.
Yeah.
But yeah, Georgia's known for having granite and whole sheets of gold, veins of gold, and it's a lot purer than the gold in other parts of the world. To be honest with you, you know how like in the Bible they say the land with roads paved to gold, milk and honey?
Uh-huh.
That's America.
Wow. Yeah.
Truly America. Like really think about it. America was the first place that the crown colonized. And they have been here for 45 years or something like that.
Mm.
They haven't, if you really think about it, they've been here. They're just now deciding to colonize Africa.
True.
So if Africa had so much gold and diamonds and stuff, like really think about it. We have volcanoes all up and down America, few here, few there. But like when I say Americas, I'm talking about North America and South America. The Americas is still one landmass. We got the Ring of Fire and all of those, Yellowstone. Whenever you have volcanoes, that's where you find diamonds and all of these other rare minerals, because whenever you have an eruption, all of that stuff that's in the core is pushed to the front.
Yep.
Pushed up to earth. So with that being said, I mean, I don't know of too many volcanoes in Africa. Hell, I know about Dante Peak here in America. They made a movie about that.
They sure did.
So you can't tell me America isn't filled with minerals, because if it wasn't filled with minerals, then you wouldn't be here.
No, sure wouldn't.
We can't even get you off the land.
Man.
Yeah, I can't find it. I think I might have deleted it, and I don't even see that email anymore.
Is there a way that you can look back or look it up online?
I may be able to. Let me see. We can. You know what we can do? We can go through maps online today.
Yeah.
This is my first live. Let me get rid of some of these tabs because I don't want stuff to start acting crazy on me.
And that would definitely explain the Great Gold Rush.
Exactly.
It happened like in the early part of the Americas. Everybody and their mama was rushing to go west.
Oh, and speaking of going west with gold, like listen to this. I never finished telling the story that my cousin told me. Now, my grandmother and her husband, Johanna and Amos, they're supposedly slaves. I don't believe that. I believe it was a little bit more to this story, but
Mhm.
this so-called slave got out, you know. She when they was released from so-called slavery or whatnot, but she
Uh-huh.
had gold and she had pearls that she gave her sons. She gave my cousin, not my cousin, my uncle, James, enough gold to get him from Georgia to Oklahoma and then start a school.
Damn.
And she gave my other uncle enough pearls and gold to go wherever he wanted to go. But these people are supposedly slaves. This is what the museum wants me to believe. Well, I never really heard of y'all researching slaves, but I do know y'all like to dig up pharaohs, kings, anybody of prominence in that's black.
Right.
And they don't let them tell it. They told me they don't know what the bodies are, but she tells me that they, the museum has a grant to find where they're located and basically, either erect something or whatever. She say erect the tombstone, but I don't believe that. I think they're giving the money to dig my people up.
Wow.
To be honest with you, like, what other reason why you would give somebody a grant? Like, and then from what my cousin told me, she said the previous people who was over them, she said they wouldn't communicate with her at all. And she said she initially found out about that, about this museum and, they were doing research on my family back in the 1980s. She said early 80s. She said she read about it in a freaking magazine.
Damn.
Now, I'm born in 88. I'm 32 right now. So she said she saw this in 1980. That's well over 30 years.
Yeah.
So what are you researching about my family?
Girl, you royalty.
And this is not the only thing
Come from some kind of importance. I know that. Like if your family is, being like excavated and, examined and, under a microscope, there has to be some very important reason for it.
That's what I'm saying. And I've been trying to do more research on the people who was so-called, that's why I say Senator Robert Toombs. When you do research, because see, she told me I can't even find proof myself that Robert Toombs supposedly had them as slaves. Can't find a document.
Wow.
Okay, but what I do know is at one point, with a lot of these so-called plantations, which are plantations is another word for farm, a lot of these slave plantations were Indian factories, Indian farms that they turned into so-called slave plantations.
Wow.
Or if it wasn't a plantation before that, a farm, an Indian-owned farm, it was what you would call it, a town. It was a town, an Indian town.
Right.
It's a lot of stuff they like to hide from us, and they don't tell us. Like to be back, like even back to what I was saying with the Egyptian stuff. I believe, like for example, Tutankhamun. That's just his war name. Our people use many names.
True.
Like, he may have had 4 or 5 names. So for all we know, Tutankhamun could have been somebody named Edward Johnson or something, or like for example, this one dude I found. I was looking in this book, and this book that I found out about that had my people in it. It's called the National Encyclopedia of Negroes. It was printed in the early 1900s. It's really, really old. Long story short, hold on, here you go. Pull it up. I found a pharaoh in the book, and this man looked like Tutankhamun.
Really?
His name is hold on. Let me see if it pops back up and it don't go back to the page, really. But he is a pharaoh. I'm finna come back over here and hit share so that y'all can see what I'm looking at. Okay. Can you see my screen that I'm sharing?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the National Encyclopedia of not Negro, of the colored race.
Yeah.
Now, what you will notice in this book, for example, you see some people named Roman, which I'm thinking, like you have the name Moore,
Yeah.
Moor, and then you have the last name Moore, Moore.
Yep.
Okay, you find out when you do a little bit of research, Romans were Romans who rowed boats, people who, control boats.
Right.
You find out a whole lot.
Yes, you do.
Some of these names here will trip you out. Oh my goodness. Let me see if I can get to. Now, some of this, it kind of looks faded. It kind of looks a little old. Like this dude here, his name is Little Brown Baby. That's his nickname.
Oh, wow.
Little Brown Baby. Ah. Oh, they mentioned Sojourner Truth in here. They mentioned quite a few people in here. Harriet Tubman. Did you know Harriet Tubman was a spy for the Union?
Yep, I sure did.
So that means she a traitor to the black race.
Wow.
When you really do the research, when she was going to get these so-called slaves, after she go get these so-called slaves, all of a sudden the Union know where these people go. They'll go back to somewhere, where she just left from, and get the
Yeah.
Indians. Messed me up when I found that out. And I said it makes sense they'll want to put a coon on the dollar bill. They get, like, even to this day, they do the same to this day. They promote the coons.
And it'll make sense why they never caught her and killed her.
Exactly.
Damn.
Exactly. Now, these, like this right here, most likely this institute was owned by a black person. Anything in this book is owned by black people. All of it. And this is talking about, I guess, the town of Tuskegee. Because I'm going to be honest, I haven't read this whole book. I just, went through and read parts, that kind of, that was either kin to me or may have had a name as a family member, or maybe, I thought maybe related to a family member.
Yeah.
So I didn't really, go through and read. Like, for example, say Calhoun here, Calhoun Colored School. Calhoun, we got a road out here called the Calhoun Expressway.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Calhoun Expressway. Let's see. And like this building here, this here is the national headquarters of the United Order of Good Shepherds. It's like a church, I guess, or like a secret society or something like that.
Yeah.
They found knowledge. But, with us, secret society necessarily wasn't a bad thing. It was somewhere where we passed on our knowledge that we didn't want these pale people to have.
True.
Okay.
That's true.
Where are you? Like this dude, his last name is Good Game. I've never heard anybody with the last name Good Game.
That's different.
Good Game. He's from Alabama, no, not northern. They say in Birmingham, Alabama. Good Game. I really wish we could see his face.
Yeah.
And here's a Kennedy. Oh, a Kenny. My bad. Kenny. Louis. His name is Loveless. Loveless. I've never heard of that before.
I heard of a Lovelace, but not Loveless.
You'd be surprised, like some of these last names. I'm trying to tell you, like when we get to the one Pharaoh, it shocked me. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
A pharaoh in America?
Mm.
Spelled like Pharaoh with the AH at the end. It's spelled Pharrow, but it's still Pharaoh.
Yeah. And it still got the PH in the beginning. So
Like it just shocks me with some like with our people with these names. Like you some of these names you don't even hear anymore.
and especially like last names like Washington and Jackson, like that's now primarily a black person's last name. You don't hardly see any white person with the surname Washington or Jackson anymore. But I bet you if you were to trace back your lineage and whatnot, best believe there's a white person that came from.
No, actually, it's not a white person last name. Washington and Jackson are actually indigenous last names.
It
If
are
you-
they?
They really are. Because when you look at okay, I didn't know this until I went to like start doing deeper research.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for example, Jackson is just another variation of the word Johnson with John, which leads to like it all it. Okay, let me. I'm gonna show
Like
you.
the
I can
son of
show you.
John.
Yeah, or a priest. It leads all the way back to Yahweh. To be honest with you,
Oh, okay.
and I didn't know that. And another thing, like I didn't know. For example, while we talking about Jacksons, Michael Jackson is Indian.
Wow, that makes a whole lot of sense now.
And
That makes a whole lot of sense.
and if he's an Indian, probably Bill Cosby an Indian too, and that's why they're giving him the hassle that they're giving him.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm finna go ahead. I'm finna. Oh shoot! Oh, I was still sharing.
I mean, it's black screen now. You were going.
Oh, okay. I see what I was doing because I got off of that. So I see what I did. Because I was sharing on that I clicked just for it to go to that. Okay, so this is behindthenames.com. And
Oh,
this would show you like the different variations of the word the name Jackson, which it comes from Jack, which is the son of Jack, the son of Jack.
yeah.
Same thing like if you see Johnson, the son of John, Johnson.
Yeah.
So you go down here and it tells you a little bit more here. Okay, and it show you like the popularity of the name, and it show you like categories here. So the part I want to show you is it, no, it's not popularity. It's related names. Related names. Because I even see my grandmother's first name, and when I kept doing research, I noticed like on two of her kids' death certificates, they always put the mom's maiden name, right?
Yeah.
I was assuming when I saw Johnson down, I see Amos Johnson, Johanna Johnson. I'm like, okay, well, why they put down her married name? It didn't dawn on it. It finally clicked. That's probably not her mate. That's probably not her marriage name there.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not an error. That's probably her maiden name. She probably was a Johnson marrying a different Johnson from another line.
Right.
Especially when you look and then you see her name here on here, Johanna, right here. Well, Joanne here, but then you go further down, you will see a Johanna. Like, okay, now these are all short forms or derivatives of the name Jackson. You got Deshaun, Keyshawn, Leishawn, Rishon. You got all of these names, Johans. You got a whole bunch of names.
Right.
Ivan, Jan, Zon. I can't even pronounce that. I'm not even gonna try. Yannick. You got a bunch of names.
Yeah.
Hannah. You go on. Here go almost like her name, but here's her name, Johanna. Her first name is Johanna.
Uh-huh.
which is a derivative of her last name Johnson too, which you'll see Johnson on here too. Which what made me realize that this is a derivative of Johnson, for example, because sometime, hold on, let me see. The first thing I saw was here, this here.
Okay.
That's another derivative of John. Like if you type in Prester John or Prasta Jana, which this would be a version of John, but just in a different language.
Right.
So her mom named her the female version of John, and her mom and dad named her the female version of John, and her last name is Johnson. But you'll eventually see Johnson. Where is it? I might have to, because there's so many names on here. Okay. Theology. I'm going to highlight it. Yahweh.
Wow.
And what's so crazy, my parents even named me a deviation of my grandmother's name. Now, my name is Jessica, but they call me Jessie. You might as well say they didn't even name me Jessica because no one calls me Jessica. They all call me Jessie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right here. Jessie. So my mom named me and my brother, because my brother's name is John.
Wow.
So she named two of her kids after her third great grandmother without even realizing it.
Wow. Sometimes it'll just come to you, you know, like certain names, it passes on from generation to generation and people don't even know it. It's like, you know, a subconscious thing.
Yeah. It really is. The son of John, right here, Johnson. It's about the same popularity, related names.
It's just like O'Neill, like, or O'Day. Like I think it's called a patronymic, and it's called the son of Neil or the son of Day. You know, names like that, and they break it down for you.
Now Jack, right here, Jack, the son of the son of Jack is Jackson.
Yeah.
Right here, English version, Jackson. So you mean to tell me Johnson and Jackson are connected along with Hancock, Jack, Jackson, Jenkins, Jennings, and Jinx?
Wow. Yep.
And I go back, let's see what the English, right here, English version, who all last names. Because then that means they're all one and the same English. Oh, wow. Whew. Goodness, you see this section here?
Oh, yeah. That's a long paragraph.
Oh my goodness. Even Janet Parrish did it to us. They named her Jackson twice. Janet Jackson. You see her name right here?
Yeah, sure did.
But all of these names actually are a derivative of Jackson and Johnson. They're one and the same.
Well, look up my last name, Frazier, because I've always had like difficulty finding like where Frazier. That's the original spelling.
Hold on. Let me type it in again because this may not be.
That looks right.
No, but it comes up like that. I want to make sure I got the better
version. Like no, but that's my actual name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. I always click popularity first. I don't know why. Okay, so they only have two versions. Well, yeah, two versions of your name here. Let's see. Make sure I click the one that said. I just want to be safe. Right,
yeah.
Name. See, it's different color.
Yep.
Still the same, but then it's different. They got one more derivative.
And
I
it's
believe it may be a derivative with a Y where the I is at too.
okay.
Because I feel like I may have seen a weird spelling of your name on a census record.
Oh, okay.
But then again, back then, I will say this: you see variations of names on census records because of the fact that a lot of times the people who was doing the census were illiterate.
Right. True.
So they would just write it, however they saw it or whatnot. So we're going to maps.
Okay.
Where is it? Here we go. I want to say it was like here. That's not it. Okay, let me click this. Where just bring up maps. Don't bring up all of this extra stuff. Okay, so that's not it. But yeah, basically this is what I do. I live on National Archives and
Oh,
other
wow.
websites. I had to go through and delete some stuff so that
You can make room for the new stuff.
yeah, I think I have this map already. This may be the one that I don't know if this is the one that has it on here. But we're gonna see. So this is a Carolina map, and it also, from what it looks like, yeah, it has Carolina here. Let me make this bigger. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Carolina here, which from all of this yellow is parts of Carolina, which this part is southern and this part is North Carolina. And this part here, I'm assuming is Louisiana.
Okay.
And then this little part here at the top is the part of Virginia.
Mm.
So right here, first thing comes out to my mind, which this isn't the map, but I'm just going to show you a few things. You have iron mines right here along the Santee River.
Okay.
Santee River is named after some Indians.
Yep.
Santee Indians. Then you have an English core right here. Then you got the Saluda Desert, which I live not that far from the Saluda, but I'm not sure what's out there. I don't really go there. It's really racist out there. I try
Oh, yeah.
not to go out there. Then we have this is the Savannah River right here. And you see Savannah is spelled a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then right here, I'm gonna blow this up some more. You have the Savannah town right here. And that town was named after some Savannah Indians.
Mm.
Eventually the Indians moved north. But you see
Wow.
a whole bunch of different names on here. And like over here is a village here of 10. And then the village over here on the other side of the mountain of 30. And then you have a village. No, that's the name of the mountains. My bad. But yeah, I just sit here and I look at maps all day and try to decipher stuff. And then you have Port Royal here. And then you have Port Royal and Port Royal Island.
Uh-huh.
I know whenever you would see something that looks like this little squiggly thing, that would, and then you see land behind it. Normally, that was just another spelling of island.
Okay.
Yeah, mind you, that these jokers can't even what you call it, the cartographers, the map makers. Some of
Uh-huh.
them really spell that good.
Oh, yeah. That
It's
makes sense.
horrible. So, but yeah, that wasn't the map that I'm looking for. I hope I find it while I'm on here. I really hate bringing up a topic or bringing up something, then I can't find what I'm looking for.
Right.
Kind of irks my nerves.
And I feel you.
I don't see it on here. Let's make this bigger. Okay, so this is another map. And as you see, America is spelled different.
Oh, yeah.
Mary. And then you see Nord, which is north. And the only
Yeah.
reason why I know Nord mean north, for example, my last name before I got married is Norman. And I would run into some people like who would pronounce my name Nordman. And I'm like, what in the hell? And then I learned, depending on the culture of the language, Nor is pronounced Nord, which is north.
Right.
So yeah, it tripped me out. But yeah, this is, let's see, where are we? Orientation on here. So I always try to find, like, that is the Santee River here. So then that means this is the Savannah. Yeah, this is just made a few years after the other map. Oh, what the hell? I didn't even touch it. I just had my finger here on one little on the pad and it just got big.
Wow. Maybe it's trying to tell you something.
Yeah. Hold up. Maybe it is. That's St. John's down here. Right there. Remember how they spelled John? Yeah. Yep, St. John's Island.
Wow.
I heard that reminds me, I watched this dude. He was talking about Prester John, you know, the one who supposedly had the Fountain of Youth.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember him saying something about St. John's Island is connected to Prester John and the legend of the Fountain of Youth.
Oh, wow.
But I know from what he was saying, hold on, that's 65. See, I really, really wish I could just find that map. Okay. So this is from, let me go back and look again. This is from 1765. And this is a map of Virginia, which is at the top. North Carolina, which span across like this. South Carolina, that span across, in Georgia. This long little PT is Georgia. And the first thing that comes out to me is Lower Creek right here. Lower Creek. Right there. Lower Creek. Like Lower Creek Indians.
Yeah.
And I see Choctaw right here.
Damn. Yep.
I see Choctaw right here. Oh, yeah. They said Creek Indians right across. Creek Indians.
Yep. Sure do.
Upper Creek. Lower Cherokee. Mid Cherokee. Cherokee. And then it's spelled with an A. And then I see Augusta, where I live at, and it's spelled different. I see Savannah at the bottom, and it's finally got its final spelling right here.
Yeah.
Beaufort, Charlestown, Santee River. Wow. So many Indians on here. Oh, and they spell Cherokee different with an A instead of an O.
Oh, wow.
Cherokee, and then Cherokee right here. Cherokees. So that tells me the Cherokee and the Cherokees are two different Indians.
Yeah.
Cherokee or Hika. I can't pronounce that.
Zoom in on it. Let me see. Oh, wow.
Hugo Higu. Hiki.
Hugo
Hiki. Yeah, I think it's Hugo Hiki.
Yeah.
Cherokee or Hugo Hiki. Oh,
wow.
look. And then you got Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then the Tennessee River. Oh, wow. I'm going to have to save this map.
Yeah.
A Chickafu town, which is probably named after another tribe of Indians.
Yep. I'm quite sure. Chickasaw. I see Chickasaw towns.
Y'all don't see it.
It's right there, right up over where it says South Carolina, right up over the U.
Okay, right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Damn, that's amazing.
Broad River. The Broad River is still there. Kilonia? Or Kilowa? I think it's
Kilauea.
Kilowa. Right here.
Yeah.
I can't make it bigger. I can't
Yeah.
tell it.
Kilauea.
I think that's a W. Kilowa.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at this. Watery water. River. Watery
Damn.
river.
Damn.
Watery. Oh wow. Our ancestors.
Man.
Now look.
Trip.
The Ogeechee.
Oh Lord.
That's who they got. Gullah Geechee.
Yep.
It may not be on the map now, but they got a river called the Wale River or something like that, and it's where they got the Wale. The Wale Indians got their name from, where they love to call them, Africans, and then the Gullah Geechee, they got their name from the Ogeechee River.
Yeah.
Here go the Ogeechee River right here.
Mm.
And the Ogeechee River is where my mom, she got my cousin named Michi from the Ogeechee River.
Oh wow.
Yes, which is it's basically, I'm not sure which language it is, but basically she gave her an Indian nickname. Yeah. Unbeknownst to me, when I was little, my cousin name is Latasha, but I call her Wookie. Wookie. My recently I was talking to one of my cousins. She was like, that Wookie is like a war chant, an indigenous war chant.
It sounds like one too.
Oh, you named and she said, my mom say, you named Wookie. She said, you just walk around the house and say, Wookie.
Oh my God.
She said, that's her name. So I named her after a war cry.
Wow.
Okay, it was another one I saw that I wanted to bring up. I seen Black Creek on here, right here. Black Creek.
Ooh.
Black Creek.
Yeah.
And then you got Black River. Black people, black. Or it could have been after the black. You know what it is? Because this is up here not too far. This is in the Virginia area now.
Yeah.
Modern day Virginia. So it's probably named after the Blackfoot Indians.
Yep.
Look, Chickahawk up here.
Yep.
Nah, what is this? I can't even see that. Make that out.
I know.
Sea Lookout.
Yeah.
And Sea Fear. Drum.
Fear. Lord have mercy.
See Fear. I see it right there. Fear.
Yeah.
And then I see Core Banks, and that's Beaufort. I guess that's Beaufort, South Carolina. Right here. It's one of my favorite places. Then we have Brunswick, which is still named there. Oh, you remember when I was talking about the Romans? The Romans. Yeah. Look, Roman.
Oh, wow.
Romain. Roman.
Ooh. Wow. That's Romaine. That's how they Romaine. Yeah.
And I believe Romaine is tied to people of the boat. Just like when they talk about the Moors,
Yeah.
Like people love to say, "Oh, the Moors come from Morocco." They can't come from Morocco. I'm gonna be honest with you, because a lot of the knowledge they have is from indigenous people. I believe there are just another branch of that Moor family, that Moor surname.
Yeah.
I think they're just one and the same, just another cousin. Because when you think about it, before these people came over here, we are the ones who had government. We actually, and contrary to popular beliefs, we traveled everywhere, everywhere. That is why even when the mummies that they did dig up in Egypt, they found cocaine leaves and tobacco leaves mummified with the bodies. You can't grow tobacco in Africa or cocaine in Africa. Cocaine and tobacco is indigenous to America, to
Yeah.
the Americas.
Mm.
So I believe they was going right on up, over that little mountain ridge I showed you, and going across the top and traveling.
Yeah. Had to have been.
As you see, Queen Scotta is a black woman.
Yeah.
A black woman. Okay, let's see. We're gonna go back to these maps. I'm gonna try I'm gonna try 2 more maps, and if I can't find it, because I do know it was deep in here, like in this area in these years, because I hadn't got further up yet. I like to look deep in history now at the older maps.
Yeah.
They better let me come across a map that one of my families made, because I might killmonger it.
I know that's right.
And I'm
Good.
not just laughing. I'm laughing because I'm serious.
I believe it.
Landor, Appalachia, I guess. And that's Ichi right there. E-T. No, Ichi right there. I think. No, E-T. Fort Moore. Look, Fort Moore. And Fort Moore is a part of the Savannah town with the Savannah Indians.
Oh, okay.
But it was a town before it became Fort. It was an Indian town before that, and then when these foreigners started coming, they kept clashing with the Savannah tribe. So the Savannah tribe ended up going north, like up this way, over into the mountain range.
Right.
And I figured that out doing a little bit of history, because I was, my plan is to do a story about local towns that we don't know about anymore. Yeah, I don't see it on here. And then this map is a little bit different. Everything is closer together than it's supposed to be. Or maybe not. Because the Watery right here, and then they got Fredericksburg, but maybe. Because see, when I think of Fredericksburg, it made me think of Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Yeah.
Because they got a town. So, no, this is still supposed to be South Carolina. So, it may not be Fredericksburg, Virginia. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not smaller, because then you got Black River up here, and then to the side, it's supposed to be Black Creek right up in here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is. And as you see, a lot of the Indian names we were seeing before, you don't see them as much. You see some here and there, but not so much.
Right.
And then Augusta spelled this way, but then you see Chickasaw right here.
Yeah.
Chickasaw. Oh, let's see. I get off of this. I think I'm gonna show you one of these crazy maps. Hold on, let me unshare while I'm doing this. I don't want any of my personal information shared.
Okay.
I think we're probably gonna do like maybe like another 10 minutes because I just realized it's 9:21.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I'm gonna have to get off of here, like, real soon because I haven't eaten
Me
dinner.
either.
Oh,
I cooked dinner, but I haven't ate yet. So I got oxtails, butter beans, and rice and cornbread waiting on the stove for me.
oh my God, girl,
I done went in there and threw down.
that's bringing me back. That's bringing me back, Lord.
You know
Mm.
what? I might just save that other one for another time because I done clicked something and now it's doing something else.
Oh, okay.
It's doing its own little thing, whatnot.
No, okay.
I'm just trying to bring up another page. And I
Yeah.
should probably email it to you. You're gonna be shocked.
Yes, please do.
Oh my goodness. I'm looking at some of these maps. I'm like, hold on.
Because I am fascinated with maps too. I love maps, especially like the old ones where, they didn't have like the fully formed names of things that we see now. I love that.
And then they put a lot of truths in the maps back then. Like I've even noticed and people attribute land masses disappearing from maps because they say, oh well, maybe they didn't know what they was doing. They knew exactly what they was writing. Like in
Yeah.
some maps you will see at the North Pole, it was land up there at the North Pole. 4 islands, to be honest with you, and a so-called floating island. Now it's no longer there.
That's true.
And you mean to tell me? And before they had a island at the North Pole and an island at the South Pole. You still got the island at the South Pole, but you're telling me that the island in the North, you got the island in the South Pole, but the island in the North Pole is gone.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
And then like with California, I love to go back to there for an example and show people, even when, for example, they show it as an island, right? Well,
Right.
while it was an island, the name, that water that was there, you know what they call that water? The Red Sea.
Oh, okay.
The Red Sea. The reason why, because it was surrounded by red rocks.
Yep.
The Red Sea. What does the Red Sea make you think of? Moses.
Yep.
And then you get to think about the story of the Egyptians and Moses. Well, we found out these Egyptians here. The Egyptians was us, the Indians.
Yeah.
It was just a different tribe than the tribe of Judah or the tribe of Utah.
Yeah.
It's a different tribe.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, with our history, you have to use you can't look at it through the eyes of what they taught us, how they taught us to look at information and just look at it with a one-sided view or whatever. I go to information and I look at it with an open mind and I try to use common sense to piece stuff together.
Right.
For example, that's just for example, if I'm finding a whole bunch of apples and then I'm just, well, where's the apples coming from? And there's a big apple tree there, and all of the white scientists are saying, oh, we're finding apples everywhere. We don't know where these apples coming from. I'm going to use common sense, okay, well, they're coming from an apple tree, so where's the apple tree? We're going to look around and look for the apple tree and find it.
That's true.
They don't do that. They have an apple in their hand, being a field full of apples. And the trees that, they're being a field full of apple trees. While holding the apple, talking about, I don't know where this apple came from. Well, apparently, if you in the land full of apple trees, then the apple must have came from the apple tree.
Right.
And with me using that analogy, us Black people, we are the trees. And the stuff they're digging up is the apples.
Yeah. That's true. That makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. Same analogy I use, for example, when I talk to people, because I've gotten to a point, I try to make sure I do not claim that African status, because when you claim African American, you're saying you're a foreigner. Really look at, it's 2 continents in one.
Yeah.
I'm an African American. Now, truly, I am not an African American. I can never be an African American. I could be
Right.
a Native American because everyone who's born here in America is a native. But my
That's true.
people aren't natives. My people are of this land. So my people are either Aboriginal, Aborigines, or American Indian.
Right.
I do not pick the native part because the native part is regulated by the government. Plus, the native is who they brought in. Those Russians, those, from so-called Siberia who crossed over or whatnot. The ones they have now, the $5 Indians, those lily white people who claim they're Indians.
Right.
Those are the ones who is labeled as American Indian. Not American Indian, my bad. American Native. And then the people get, they get everything we supposed to get. They get they went and brokered a deal. But this is my thing. We can easily prove who's the Indians. All we got to do is do the genealogy and prove who got the most land patents in here. Because a foreigner cannot own the title to the land. Same thing. And if you're so much African, why when you go over there, why aren't they allowing you to just return back home?
Exactly.
Not only one person so far has became a citizen of one of the African countries. And then we always try to say, oh, we're one and the same. We're one and the same. No, we're not. The Africans know who we are. Some of them will say, oh, no, we one and the same, because those are the ones who want to come over here or whatever and try to blend with us. Because, like, I remember I dated an African dude years ago, and I stopped talking to him or whatever. And I'm not going to lie, like, it dawned on me what was going on. Because, like, he started talking about babies. I got, 2 kids. I got a 15-year-old and I got a 6-year-old. I don't want any more babies. And at the time, my 6-year-old was like 2, 3, something like that. I'm like, I don't want a baby. You trying to get me to come over there talking about, well, when you leave, you want to be pregnant? No, I don't want no. You're trying to get an anchor baby.
Yeah.
And I remember I would conversate with him and his friend. His friend was like his brother. His friend was real cool, Malik. And he was like, we was talking, and I was, this one I was kind of like on that, that Pan-African stuff. And he was like, what your grandma told you about who you are? Because you really ain't African, right? And this dude, he wasn't full African saying this to me. His daddy was African and his mama was an American. His name was Malik.
Right.
And it dawned on me. And then over the years, I started thinking, I was like, you know what? It's a reason why Africans, you have some Africans who say we're one and the same. Then you have other Africans who say we're not. It's a reason why. They know we Indians. Because if we was one and the same, they'd be building. They would have inventors coming up out of there the same way we have inventors coming out over here. We have Black Americans. We're so unique as a person, as people. We've gave the world the most inventions out of all of the races, so much so that our inventions are still being stolen to this day.
Wow.
And we don't realize it. Like, I know of one who was recent, who invention was recently stolen. Renetta Johnson. She invented the Kindle and iPod, which the iPod was made before the iPad. She invented those 2 devices as one device, and they stole her invention.
Damn.
Sophia Stewart, she wrote the Third Eye Matrix, and they stole her stuff. And
yeah, they did. They had to pay her back too. They had to pay her big.
Yes, they do. And then they want to come out with another movie, but they can't use The Matrix. They can only call it Matrix. And they're all one and the same. She said John Connor is Neo. And this is from an interview that I heard her do with Know the Ledge Radio. She said John Connor and Neo are one and the same.
Wow.
It blows your mind when you think about it.
Yeah, it do.
Blows your mind. But sister, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead and end the live stream. I don't want to hold you
Okay.
too long. We've been on here for 2 hours and 14 minutes.
We sure have. And I had a blast with you and very well educated too, by the way. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't know.
Yeah, next time I'm gonna do another live stream. I'm not sure when, but I'm gonna
Okay.
try to make sure I'm a little bit more organized when it comes to the information I'm gonna be presenting, because I want to try to make sure I have more articles lined up so that way I can give y'all the information. But everything I've said can be researched. It can be
Okay.
researched. I will say this though: Google is not your friend.
No,
DuckDuckGo
it
is your
really
friend.
ain't.
And Google Chrome, if you have Google Chrome downloaded,
Mm-hmm.
it's not your friend either. It will hide stuff too.
Oh, okay.
So, and I've noticed that from, because I used to, like, I'm on it now, but I mainly use Firefox. But Firefox was moving a little too slow for me, and I didn't want to do the live screen on it. So I just
Right.
did it on this one. But I noticed I would, bookmark articles and stuff, and I know the whole list gone, whole article's gone that I bookmarked. They just go in and delete, do what they want to do when it comes to Chrome. So I
Right.
just decided not to, when it comes to me doing research, I don't even go through it, because you got to think about it. It's the same company who made Google, the search engine. They got a browser. So if they're going to censor your searching, they can censor you straight through your browser.
And that's another podcast that I'm going to eventually get to and start doing about how the whole data mining thing is going down, how they trade your information. Like, say if you visited Facebook and you had like skimmed through some advertisements,
Mhm.
and you'll go to like maybe YouTube or Instagram, and you'll see those same things that you were looking up pop up on those websites too.
Girl, they do more than just that. They actually look at your face, because I remember I wear glasses. So 3 glasses
Yeah.
ago, I got the cat eye look.
Yeah.
Never text anybody about what type of glasses I had on. Only thing I was doing was just on Facebook. And I promise you, 3 days of me being on Facebook, the third day, all I seen was like cat eye sunglasses, cat eye little reading glasses, cat eye everything. Mind you, I didn't even know what it was called. I just liked the look because it gave me like the 1960s vibe. And that's kind of what I was looking for. I wanted like this, because I feel like it's almost like the little glasses in a sense that your avatar has on. I wanted this kind of eloquent look of the 60s, but with a modern frame. You get what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
didn't even know what it was called. I was calling them 60 retro glasses. And these cat eye frames were just showing up all on it. And mind you, I didn't text anybody or anything. I was just on Facebook. And I said, these jokers are watching my face.
Yeah, they are.
And this
That's
was,
why I kid you not. I got some black tape covering up my Chromebook right now.
yeah, I
That
got it
camera
over my
part,
computer, but not over my phone. I need to put it over my phone.
I got it on my phone and my Chromebook. For real, for real. I don't trust shit.
But let me tell you what I do with my phone. If they all watching me, I be talking shit to them, shooting birds at them, telling them to kiss my ass. I just
Dang.
like, I'm like, you watching me? Well, watch me dig up my butt. Look at this. I'm like, I'm gonna give y'all a reason to be like, this bitch nasty. I don't even enjoy my job no more. Like, I just do stuff so rude when I be feeling like, because sometimes I feel like somebody's looking at me and I'll be like, oh, it's that phone. They probably watching me, and I just do something.
Yeah.
I want them to be like, you know what? This is uncomfortable. Because you're doing something you're not supposed to do. It's supposed to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's
That's
supposed to
true.
be extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anywho, I really enjoyed your conversation. I am happy that you decided
Likewise.
to join me on my first live stream. Yay me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had a blast.
And I would be honored with, you come back on or whatever. I will
Hey,
honor
I'll
you
be
back
there.
on. It's
Just
about
name the
time I
time and
start
day.
have you on my channel. You have had me on your channel a few times. And I
Yep.
appreciate, you having me on your channel.
Oh,
So
no worries. No problem.
You.
Anytime. Likewise. Absolutely.
Okay.
And I hope you have a great rest of your evening, a great weekend. Be safe. Wash your hands, like I always say.
Yeah, I will. I will. Believe me, I will.
And yeah, we'll link back up, through email.
Yeah, I know. Well, guys, this is the end of the live screen. I enjoyed this conversation as much as you guys probably did. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this conversation as much as me and Kimberly did.
Absolutely.
When you come in, if you made it this far, I want you to hit like, share, and subscribe or whatever. I am your host, Jessica X. And again, thanks for joining us.
Take care, y'all.